Hello everyone again and welcome. Today is Tuesday, 8th of December 2022 and the last full moon of this current year. This is called the full cold moon or the long nights moon, obviously because of the long dark nights, or the oak moon. And like every full moon, it's associated with endings, completions, ending the cycle. Something old must die in order for the new to be reborn. And our theme today is a time for everything. And what do we mean by that? Well, it is the great time clocks of Mother Nature and of the greater cosmos that usher in the various changing seasons of the year. The changing times, each with their own energy and their own rhythm. And our own internal sensory mechanisms, well, they're all devised to be in tune, in harmony with these great natural time clocks of Mother Nature. And so indeed, our spiritual and human life journeys are completely interconnected and interwoven with these natural cycles of Mother Earth. Everything that happens in the cosmos above us and in the natural world around us, well, this is all reflected in our own lives. Just as the seasons change, so too our lives change to correspond with that. Everything is connected and reflected in our lives. But it would appear that we seem to have lost our connection. Simply because we are caught up in so much materialism and commercialization. Our calendar, our time, is dictated by the watch on our wrist and the clock on our wall. The calendar for our ancient ancestors was very different. It was a solar calendar, known as the Great Wheel of the Year, the Wheel of the Sun. And in that calendar, in that Great Wheel, there were 8 specific demarcation points of time throughout the year, each bringing in its own energy and its own rhythm. And our ancient ancestors lived their lives completely in the understanding that the 4 seasons, with the 2 equinoxes and the 2 solstices, these were flowing in and out of each other in constant rhythm, in a circular and spiral motion, each bringing in its own energy and its rhythm, and constantly interacting with each other. There was no demarcation, there was no separation. And all of this was being reflected in the lives of our ancient ancestors, in the changing seasons of their lives, corresponding to the changing seasons of the natural happenings around them. So what were these 8 demarcation points in their calendar? Well, the first one for them was Samhain, at the beginning of November, late October. Samhain was their first. They started their year in Samhain. Then there was the winter solstice, 21st of December. Then Imbolc, 1st of February. The spring equinox, 21st of March. Bealtaine, 1st of May. Summer solstice, 21st of June. Lughnasadh, 1st of August. And finally the autumn equinox, 21st of September. And then back again to Samhain, and the whole cycle started again. And each of these brought in its own energy and its own rhythm. And so each of these has, for us today too, a different impact on our own lives. But are we even aware of them? Have we lost touch with all of this? Let us remind ourselves of the different times that our life circles around. Brenda, please.
To everything there is a season, a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up which is planted. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time of war and a time of peace, a time to be creative and a time to survive, a time to surrender and a time to rebel, a time to stay and a time to move on, a time to make change and a time to let be, a time to be there and a time to stay away, a time to love and a time to let go, a time to take charge and a time to let be, a time to be anxious and a time to be at peace, a time to care and a time to be cared for, a time to reach beyond and a time to consolidate, a time to be moderate and a time to be outrageous. So Eileen, at what point are we at now?
Good question, Brenda. And that is the theme we're talking about today. What time are we at right now? What do we need to be doing right now? Well, as Brenda said there's a time for resting and a time for working. There's a time for our energies to be coming inward and a time for energy to be going outwards. And at this point in time of the year, we are now between Samhain, early November, and the winter solstice, 21st of December. And then comes the new moon after that, December the 23rd. The new moons are all about beginnings, and the full moon, as today, they're all about endings, because remember, something's got to end before something new can come in. And at this point in time, between Samhain and winter solstice, what is it important for us to remember? What should we be doing? How should we be dealing with the energy that's coming in at this point in time? Well, first of all, we need to know that it is possible for us to accept that all the seasons and energies in the changing times of the year are needed. They're all needed to create the tapestry of our life. So we must embrace all of the energies. We can't just embrace the times of year we like and then go into either fight or flight mode for the other times. There is no Bealtaine without Samhain. There is no summer without winter. There is no light without the darkness. Both darkness and light are essential in our soul journey, as they are in the natural time clocks of Mother Nature. So let us now consider this present time, where we are between Samhain and the winter solstice. Samhain, which we've just had, that's all about moments of endings and letting go. Samhain is a time to let go in order to make way for the new coming in. And for our ancient ancestors, their year began with Samhain, early November, end of October, with the festival, a big festival of Samhain. Now, why did they begin their year then? Surely for us, that's very strange, because the days are getting darker, they're getting colder, they're getting shorter. The animals are preparing to hibernate. Summer's gone, winter's begun. So how could this have been the beginning of the year for our ancient ancestors? For us, January the 1st is the beginning. But we are following the Gregorian calendar, brought in by Pope Gregory in 1582. A man-made calendar, yes, based on solar events, but man-made. Not the naturalistic calendar of Mother Nature. And that was the calendar our ancient ancestors were following. The seeds were sown around just between Samhain and winter solstice. Why? Because the warm womb of Mother Earth, the soil, the earth was still warm. And the seeds were sown in the warm soil, the warm womb of Mother Earth, the beginning of life, the beginning of the gestation period, the beginning of the fertilization period. And the great universal law is that all things begin in darkness. all life comes from the dark womb of Mother Earth. And this was what our ancestors clearly understood. Night precedes day. Winter precedes summer. With night and day being, if you like, a microcosm for the macrocosm of all life and creation. A reflection, a mirroring of all creation. And when you go into a room, you don't turn off the darkness, you turn on the light. Because it's only out of darkness that the light can come. That's the great universal law. And it was this interplay, this interconnection between these two states, darkness and light. That's what our ancient ancestors saw as essential. Essential to the continuing process, the continuing cycle of life upon the land. And so they began their year at Samhain, or summer's end, which was really the beginning of winter. Darkness will always be needed to come before the light, because light always comes out of the darkness. That is the great universal law, irrefutable and indisputable. And for us, what should Samhain be? Samhain is a time for us to attend to our fears, to draw our energies inwards, to meet our fears, including our fear of death. Many people do fear death. Remembering our loved ones who have passed on. As Mother Nature begins to withdraw her energies and go underground into the darkness, it's a time for us to journey within, seeking wisdom, however hidden or feared, a time to let go. And we need to ask ourselves some questions. What do I need to let go of in my life? What do I need to release? What needs to die at this moment for me? What do I no longer need? Whom have I still not been able to forgive? What have I been blind or deaf to? What have I been unwilling or afraid to see, to know, to acknowledge? Something must die so that the new can be renewed. Archangel Azrael is known to us as the Archangel of Death, but in the much wider sense, as the Archangel of endings, completion, fulfillment, letting go. There's no such thing as death, as we've been led to believe. It is a process of transitioning, a metamorphosis, just like the caterpillar and the butterfly. The caterpillar doesn't die in order to become the butterfly. So Archangel Azrael is the Archangel of transitioning, of change, of the endings of cycles and the beginnings of new cycles, of fruitions and new beginnings. And now we have Jennifer with words of wisdom from Archangel Azrael at this time of the year. Jennifer, please.
Thank you, Eileen. So let us invoke the energy of Archangel Azrael. He is the gatekeeper. He guides souls over the rainbow bridge. He is in charge of the souls arriving and leaving our planet at this time. It's time to let go of fear of death, as life is an eternal flame. Archangel Azrael, he advises us to take inventory of our lives, to resolve to change, to heal anything that's unbalanced in our lives, to choose forgiveness, to let go of pain and suffering, and to live every day as if it is your last, knowing that heaven is a place on earth. Stop resisting change.
Thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome, Eileen.
And after Samhain comes the winter solstice, 21st of December, the shortest day of the year. And from now on, the days will be getting longer. And that surely for us is a sort of a curious paradox. Because at this very darkest point of the year, we can begin to celebrate the return of the light. Remember, out of darkness, always will come light. And in between Samhain and the winter solstice, where we are now, this is a time of waiting and emptiness, a time of gentle care and rest, a time of great pregnancy in the land. The seeds that were sown in the warm womb of Mother Earth. And now the gestation period, the incubation period in the darkest part of the year. A time of new hope and light, dreams, new life and new light, and a hope that this will all emerge from the womb of darkness. And we have to accept that the dark is necessary, and that beyond the surface, down in the darkness, the roots are growing, the buds are forming. A time of stillness and drawing our energies within. A time to stop and reflect, and to ask ourselves, how can I become the seed of my own rebirth? How can I be the creator in my own life? What aspects of my life need regeneration? What seeds can I sow in my own life? What do I need to take care of? What do I need to be renewed in my life? What needs to be reborn in me? Archangel Gabriel is known as the messenger archangel because in the story in the gospel, and it's only a story, it's symbolic, it's only a story, in the story of the gospel, it was Archangel Gabriel who brought the tidings to Mary of new life, the sowing of the seeds in the warm womb of Mother Earth. And that was all symbolic. It's only a story, again symbolic, of light comes out of the darkness. And again we have Jennifer with messages from Archangel Gabriel.
So Archangel Gabriel, the messenger, to invoke him into our lives at this time. He promotes communication, new opportunities and learning new skills. He also promotes inner child healing, your creativity, and he has fairy energy with renewal, new hope and light, believing in our dreams. Gabriel wishes for us to choose freedom over fear. Freedom is not a destination, but a state of mind within you. Freedom is living, breathing, and joyfully existing in complete harmony and purposeful to find connection with all of creation and to trust. As the greater plan unfolds, the time is now.
Thank you, Jennifer. So to recap there, using the Celtic year, the Great Wheel of the Year, as a model for our lives, we learn how to live in ways that honour both halves of the year, the seasons of darkness and the season of light. By following the path of the year and understanding the energies associated with each season, we learn to see and to understand the very complex and subtle energies present within ourselves and within the universe. And with this knowledge, we can come to inhabit these different energies and to cooperate with, rather than fight against, what is present in our lives at this moment. And this brings more balance and harmony and greater, if you like, productivity and creativity into our lives. When we are able to embrace the pattern of the year's turning in the aspects of our own lives, as it moves from inner hidden activity to delicate budding, to blossoming, to flowering, to harvesting and breathing out, we are weaving the life energy as it flows through us, deepening and enriching our lives. And living life in this way offers a very strong counterbalance to the endless materialism and commercialization that contribute to our present graceless and indeed soulless society. We all have those Samhain periods of our life, the dark times, when all seems dark and pessimistic. But understanding that just as Samhain in the natural happenings around us, the season of Samhain, just as Samhain itself comes to an end in the natural world, giving way to brighter days and new growth, so too this particular dark period of our life will come to an end and give way to brighter days. And normally our usual human response is to go into a fight or flight mode with the times of year that we don't like. And many of us do not like the darker days of winter. But we have got to embrace those darker days, because today's theme has been all about embracing the darkness, because it's in the darkness that the new life is created. And we can't have new life without the darkness, first of all. Everything comes, every form of life is born and is created and starts in the darkness of the womb. And we cannot have light without having the darkness preceding it. And the lesson is, everything changes. The dark times will not last. And neither will the good times. So when the good times are here, we enjoy every second, every moment, and we relish them. And when the bad times are here, when the darker times are here, the darker times of our lives, just as Samhain, we get through those because we know they will not last. And we embrace them to sow the seeds in our own lives and our own spiritual journey that will come to fruition when this dark period passes. So this time from Samhain to winter solstice as we are now, it's a time for us of mindful attentiveness, a time of reflection, a time of rediscovering who we are, a time of stillness, a time of waiting, a time of tenderness, peacefulness, a time of recharging, same way as Mother Earth has recharged, has taken her energies down onto the ground to recharge and to rest. A time for us of silence, a time of accepting and embracing the darkness, knowing that the darkness always precedes the light. That is the great universal law. And knowing that what we sow now in the darkness of this period we're going through, and in these dark winter days, knowing what we sow now will come to fruition later in the year. As we sow, so shall we reap. I hope this post has meant something to you, and I hope you've got something from it. And until we meet again, thank you for watching, and namaste.
Namaste.
Angel blessings.